Hello everybody, welcome back for some StarCraft 2 action. We've got Trigger going up against YoungYakov. I hope I pronounced it correctly, YoungYakov. A Russian Zerg player that is still up and coming, I would say. And I picked this game specifically, or this series specifically, because I played against YoungYakov in the WCS Spring 2019 qualifiers, and that was basically me, on top of my game, but pretty well practiced, I would say. And I specifically remember him doing a 2-base muta when I was also doing 2-base muta, but he just did it way blinder and way more greedy. Like, he was like, if you do anything at all, I die. But he didn't die because I was also doing 2-base muta, and then he just had more muta. And I was like so flabbergasted that it still is stuck in my mind. Where I'm like, what? Because everything was going perfectly for me, right? Like, I saw him 2-basing, I didn't make any extra units, I just did my 2-base muta, and then he just punched me so hard with his muta timing. But we have Trigger going up against YoungYakov ZVP. This was in the European Open qualifier, so the winner of this match participates in the closed qualifier for EU for, Katowice. We see YoungYakov going for hatch first, and Trigger going for standard build as well, with, Quals also standard, lol. No scout from Trigger? Nope, 0 scouting from Trigger. That is interesting to see. Trigger going for a super fast Stargate, perhaps? Yep, super fast Stargate with a chronoed out Adept. And if you want to get any meaningful scouting at this point, you need to chrono this Adept out, get that Adept shade across the map, and then you can figure out what the Zerg is doing. YoungYakov takes off the gas, so only getting speed, and now just drones. Love this again. Adept moved back, so YoungYakov didn't know if the Adept was going out. Zerglings actually moving across the map here for YoungYakov. I'm just gonna say Yakov. And they're gonna get a pretty nice scout. Adept got one hit on the Zerglings here, and the Zerglings... Oh! Probes coming up the line, fisticuffs. And both Zerglings are still alive, but the Adept did go back. And I think that means Trigger has no scouting at all. Yep, no scouting whatsoever here for Trigger. He is chrono boosting out an Oracle that Yakov does know about. I do like the alliteration between the double Y. Third base coming out for Trigger at 3:30-ish. So that's good timing. And let's see what YoungYakov is up to. He's mining gas again from at least one geyser. No spores, about to have 2 queens, so he's ready to receive this Oracle. And he's also making a couple links, 10 speed links on the map right now, and they're running across the map. So perhaps they can do something at that third base from a Trigger. Checks this third base, and now they go here, and they actually spot the probe. They can get the probe, but the Adept will be a hard kill. 10 Zerglings, is that enough? Zerglings are in range of the Adept, and actually a cancel does happen. Trigger cancels his Nexus, and now it's super delayed. Oracle doesn't turn on its laser, so the Adept also dies. And we see 20 more Zerglings being added on here for YoungYakov. So Trigger might feel behind here, but actually YoungYakov doesn't have that many drones. But if this third base gets cancelled again, then, there's just not going to be a third base for the additional probes to mine for Trigger. And YoungYakov, he can just drone up this third at any moment. Oracle trying to get some damage done. Another Zergling squad here. Oracle gets a little bit of damage done. 2 Oracles have their laser beams turned on, so this third base actually does not get cancelled. Adept does get surrounded here. Actually, they aggroed it themselves, and the Zergling just going on top of stuff. 3 drones do go down. How many drones did we lose? 3 in total, actually, to this Oracle here. We do have a lair now with a Nidus Worm. Oh my god. And look at that. Trigger does not have vision over his main base. This is only 3 Adepts. If they spawn, shade in before the Nidus, then YoungYakov can just kill these, and then he can just Nidus in. Oh my god. Oh, that's so unfortunate for Trigger. Holy moly. We see Queens are about to go into the main... Oh my god. Trigger sees it, and he immediately recalls main base. Oh my god. He just finds it. Oracles were actually recalled to the 3rd base. And now Queens and Lings are swallowing up this main base here. Couple Lings into the 3rd base as well with a Nidus Worm being placed down. Wow, that one Queen almost died to the laser beams. This Queen finally finds a transfuse, and I mean, Trigger just doesn't have that many units. We don't see static defenses just yet. Now we do have 1 nuclear battery. 4th Oracle has been added on, and it's just barely being kept alive. It might... Nah, I don't know if it's enough. Oh my god, all of these Lings killing all of the probes. The nuclear battery is done. The Oracles are out of formation. The 3rd base has been saved, but a lot of probes in the main base have gone down. And more to fall. We have 2 Oracles dead now. We have a couple sentries here. 6 probes? No, my god. The Nidus is in the natural. The Lings are overflowing. And the shield battery is dead. The wall has not been breached just yet, though, but the sentry's about to fall. Oracle's getting good trades on the Zerglings. These double Zealots here doing well, but now the probes have been pulled off the line, and more Zerglings just flooding on in from YoungYakov, just making Zerglings and Queens. He's super duper all in here, which makes it okay for Trigger to maybe sack a base here, and then you can really do some nasty stuff with your Stargate tech after that. Oh my god, another nuclear battery, but it gets targeted down right away. We do have some Zealots here, but the Zerglings were targeting that shield battery. The natural has been forfeit. The Queens destroying the main base, and I don't think Trigger has anything left in the tank. 26 probes do go down. A Zealot, an Oracle, 2 more Zealots. The 3rd base is mining, but the natural is, well, kind of overrun, and the main base... I mean, this doesn't look so good. And with a cheeky Zergling Queen Nidus, after a Zergling flood to deny the 3rd base, YoungYakov taking the first game from Trigger there. Nicely identifying that Trigger didn't have vision of his entire base, and of course was being very annoying with high amounts of Zerglings, distracting his opponent. And now, going for a potential gold base here. Oh my god, Trigger going over with his own probe. And I'd expect Yakov to just send out a drone to his blue base right away. But he's actually not. Oh my god, what? What's happening here? He did build a pool. Now he's going back around here for the gold base. If I'm Trigger, I'm like, what in the world? Did he really just delay his hatchery that long? Oh my lord. We're about to put down his own nexus here. And did he see it? Not yet, but he can assume, right? He can pretty much assume at this moment. YoungYakov is mining his gas, probably going to get some speed. Might go for roaches, but I feel like roaches versus adept, that's no fun. If you can't get roach speed, it's just, it's not it, buddy. Going back home with this probe, I like that he mined it out and just went for the gold base scout. If he had built a pylon here, my god. I think he would have just left the game if this was a ladder game as the Zerg player. 6 links now going across the map because that adept is not finished just yet. YoungYakov has an earlier pool than usual. Basically a pool first build here now. 6 drones going across the map, and we have 6 patches here, so that checks out. We actually have a shield battery here to kind of close this hole, and a pylon as well. These Zerglings are kind of paying for themselves, and the depth is spawning, and will deal with these Zerglings. A couple Zerglings took a hit, but not much happened. Kind of nice to force that pylon to be built. Even nicer to force this shield battery. I mean, that shield battery is going to be nice, but it's also a vulnerability later on. We see Stargate once again coming up from Trigger, and... What? What's this? A drone is moving. Is he taking the second gold base? No way, right? There's no way. Oh my no, he takes the second gold base? Dude. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. My god. You love to see it. This is so disgusting. It's great. I love it. Trigger doesn't know anything. He does know that the gold base is up, but he definitely doesn't know anything about the second one. See some Zerglings out here. 10 drones on this base already. Oracle about to spawn, so where's that going to go? It was rallied in to spot that Overlord, but instead it's going across the map. These Zerglings ready to deny a quick third base here. And now the Adepts moving across the map. The third base is down. And we don't have a whole lot of Zerglings here for YoungYakov, but we do have 3 queens ready to deny this Oracle. 2 queens. Oh, stutter steps. Yes. Oh, Oracle barely gets away. Oh my god. Slightly cleaner stutter steps, and that Oracle was giga dead. But 7 health remaining. Now this third base might be in a little bit of peril. That is not a lot of health on that Adept. Oh, Oracle Beam does get forced, so that's a W for Yakov. And I mean, Trigger has seen it, but does he believe it? Because this is honestly just crazy. What? He's just mining from 2 gold bases right now. With, like, just lings, a couple spores, and what do you do? If you're Protoss here, what do you do? Do you, like, build cannons and shield batteries and go for Tempest? I would like that response. I think that's super funny. But instead we see Twilight Console coming out, Gateway Forge, Gateway, so Trigger just going for a more balanced response here. Maintaining a little bit of aggressive potential outside of pushing away this gold base in particular. And it never took his natural. I love this. This is great. This is a build I could see myself doing a couple of years ago. My god. Sentries being warped in. Look at how defensive Trigger's being. 2, 3 shield batteries already. Cannons being built as well. And Trigger knows that, well, I mean, if you take the forward gold, there's no way you're not being aggressive, right? Right? I feel like if you just go roaches, it's like you get a lot of lings with some Ravagers, and then you just expand behind it even more. How can he ever attack into you? 4th base going down for Yakov. And the queens in the front. I love the queens in the front. I would love like an additional Spore Spine even, but that might be a little bit too heavy on the drone cost. We only have 44. Saturating both of these gold bases. My god. Yes, look at the creep spread, dude. Look at the creep spread. If you're Trigger, you're not happy. Look at, oh my god, all of these lings triggering the stasis traps. Very nice. And now we see the Banelings. Is this shield battery going to be Trigger's undoing? That would be... Oh my god. Actually, yes, he's hitting the shield battery. Now the Ling Bane floods on into the natural. The center of Trigger's bases is in peril. These queens taking their position. And now the Lings spill over into the main, into the natural. And the queens just making sure that a part of the army of Trigger is just stuck there. In the main, we see this Zerglings trying to get some damage done. Not a lot of probes have died yet. Good job by Trigger keeping his probes alive. And now in the main, we do see the probes coming off the line. 11 probes going down. But the main siege is still going on at the 3rd base. In the main, the Zerglings are dead. Oh my god, the Oracles. No, the Oracles. They were sniped by these queens. 9 queens chilling out here. The creep tumors are coming to reinforce, and as soon as the queens are back on creep, they can transfuse each other. The lings come in from the south as well. Oh my lord. It's just, this is pure Zerg. It's just overrun the opponent. Creep is everywhere, Zerglings are everywhere, and this is how you imagine you play Zerg every game. But instead, you just sit on 4 bases and make lurkers. Oh my god, the natural trigger has gone down. Lings and Banes are streaming on into the main base. And Trigger's army can't quite get past these queens. Once again, dude, controlling the area in front of the natural wins games, baby. I mean, I guess it's more of a result of winning the game anyways at this moment. Wow, so many Lings and Banes actually went down in the main. But this is just too many queens. 9 queens. YoungYakov. Dude. He's a madman. His army has shrunk quite a bit. Trigger trying to get something done here. Still in the game. Hasn't rebuilt his natural. Hasn't felt safe to do it. YoungYakov is floating a lot of minerals because, you know, he has a bunch of gold bases. Has taken 2 more hatcheries for the larva. And also to, you know, he could go into a macro game, I guess. Like, nothing is stopping him. He can just, yes, just build a roach warren. Make 20 roaches. And then kill him. More Zerglings trying to get good trades here in the natural. And the Zealots with charge actually getting pretty decent trades. They have +1. So these Zealots you don't want to fight with pure Ling right now. So maybe it would be wise from Yakov to just kind of chill for a moment. Get those roaches out, but more Lings are being flooded in. The queens are now under assault. Trigger took a really nice fight here. And this was his moment to shine. Because Yakov was only on Zergling so far. Roach Warren is done, but he's not making any. What an awkward position. Now we do see Roach Speed and Roaches coming out. This gold base can be abandoned. We have enough hatcheries to start mining elsewhere. And I mean, if you lose this one base, yeah, I mean, it sucks, but you're in this game, right? Like, this natural is still not mining. You have creep in his 3rd and his 4th. Like, Trigger's mom is yelling upstairs for, like, right now. Like, why is there creep in the bathroom, Trigger? Clean your room, Trigger. Oh, no, that's Jordan B. Peterson, but, you know, same thing. Actually, a robo coming out for Trigger. Probably for an observer, just to get rid of all of this creep that's just all over his side of the map. Like, look at what Trigger sees. Yes, Diva, thank you. Does have a nice charge slot run by going out here. I like that by Trigger. If he holds on and this finds a little bit of damage, or a good amount of damage. Banelings coming in. Roaches are now here as well. These Banelings are looking for some buildings. And Proby boys. Oh, we get some decent connections from the Banelings there. On top of probes, on top of buildings. Sentries go down. It's only Archon Zealot and the Zealots here in the natural. Oh my god, they were following a queen instead of killing drones, and now the armor units are back and they will kill the run by. But Trigger is taking this opportunity to walk across the map, but oh my god, that's quite a good amount of speed roaches. And Trigger realizing that, oh no, you actually kind of droned up behind this. I'm in trouble. Oh, nice force fields on some of the roaches. Would have liked to box in a couple more, but Trigger's still alive here. Staying alive. Archon in front. Oh my god, nice pullback there. Oh my, no, the roaches get on top of the Archon. Secondary Archon gets killed as well, and now it's just Roach Ravager. And Yakov just switches army composition onto Trigger here. And Trigger doesn't have an Immortal yet. Doesn't just have enough units. He does have a nuclear battery here, but you see Trigger wants to get this position, but he didn't manage to build a pylon and a battery there or whatever, because there was just creep. And now Trigger, I mean, the supply don't lie. And the production tab also don't lie. We have a bunch of Banelings, more Ravagers, more Roaches, and Zerglings. Just the Zerg swarm at large, and oh no, the queens are migrating over to the Promised Land, and it's your base, brother. And Trigger going to try and hold on here, but I kind of feel like his days are numbered in this game, and with that, YoungYakov brings us to a game number 3 where he is up 2-0. Gets on top of both Immortals right away. Just no meat shield for Trigger at all to keep these Immortals alive. The third base is about to be clicked down here. The shield batteries, oh my god, there's actually a nuclear battery, but it doesn't stay alive for long. And YoungYakov takes the second game in this best of 5, and he's now up 2-0 versus goddamn Trigger. And we're hearing game number 3 on Hecate. And YoungYakov is up 2-0 on Trigger, going for a 14 hatch. Making sure that Trigger, oh my god, first time Trigger scouts, or no, it's second time I guess. And just make sure that he gets the hatch, does not get blocked. And now can just drone up, get an Overlord, do an extractor trick. Oh my god, what was this? This is a pool. Oh, okay. So it's a 14 hatch, 14 pool. YoungYakov, what are you up to, brother? Gets another gas, gets another... Okay, extractor trick. Still no Overlord, mind you. Only just... I feel like you should have built an Overlord first, but sure. Builds an Overlord now. This pool's so fast. What is Trigger going to do? I feel like he just does the same thing he always does. Because I feel like you should be able to defend this with standard play. But he might be a little bit less willing to move out with his Adepts or wall off a little bit earlier. Make a bit of a prettier wall. No shield battery in the wall, for example. And the pool is already done. Boom. We're going to get super fast double queen here. And super fast injects. 8 Zerglings already coming out. What? This is crazy. Is he just going to keep rallying slow Zerglings and trying to kill him? I don't believe that that would be a thing. I don't think that's a thing. You would at least hide your Lings now and just send 2. Nope. He's not even hiding it. He's sending 8 Lings, 2 more, and now he's droning. Oh, Trigger. Not starting a Zealot here. Nerves of steel here with Trigger. Going to build a gateway here. Okay, so he does get a wall. Pretty decent wall. Puts a pylon in front. And the slow Zerglings are already here. Oh my god, Trigger not going for a Zealot here. Goes for the Adept. Pylon gets killed, not cancelled. And all of the Zerglings are on top of this gateway. Oh my god, what a build. No, Trigger, no, dude. He didn't quite realize what was happening, and now his only gateway is getting killed. He doesn't have a shield battery yet. And oh my god, if this Adept gets surrounded, I think YoungYakov just breaks this game wide open. Oh no, he gets this around! YoungYakov, 3 Lings in the main, and there are 0 Protoss units on the field and no gateway. 5 drones behind this. And YoungYakov taking a third base as well. I'm actually... Like, if he was making more Lings behind this, I feel like he just wins. But I think, like, Trigger is shitting his pants right now. Because there could be Lings coming at any moment right now. Fully chrono boosting out the Adept. Actually sending it across the map. No, keeping it in base. 3 Zerglings are still around in the base. And, well, the Stargate has been spotted here by YoungYakov. Dude, actually, this build's kind of cool. He's just kind of playing around with, what was it, 10, 12 Lings, and then he just macros behind it. He just chills, just has a gas. First gas, 4 on gas, whoops. And now all of the Zerglings have been killed here. 1 Oracle is halfway done, and the first pylon needs to be killed again, dude. YoungYakov making this a chaotic game straight away from Trigger, and no Adepts in his bases. So look at how late his speed is allowed to be because of this. That might be just fine, right? This looks fine. Look at the drone count. It's way higher than Trigger's pro count. And usually there's already Nexus down. But he can't even get out of sight of his own base. Twilight Console double gate underway for Trigger. We do have 1 Oracle here. Does get a kill. 2 drones are dead. So Queen's not quite in position to deal with the Oracle without taking any damage. But 3 drones, not too bad. And we see a couple Zerglings being added on here, but... Oh, did he cancel the unit there? Wait a minute. he canceled the unit so he can afford Resonating Glaives. So no secondary Oracle. Overlord does not see this probe leave the base, so he's going to be taking a third base. Is there a swell of links? No, it's only 6 speed links right now. So it's not going to get a knight. Speed's also halfway done, so you know. Oh, we see a lair again. Oh, is he going to do another Nidus? It's possible. Although he does have a lot of drones for that. He would you just make Zerglings right now then? But the lair's also kind of late. Why would you get the speed before the lair? I don't know. It's probably just going to be like a Hydra or a Roach follow-up. I mean, in theory it could be Muta, but... Only see 2 gases so far. We see a bunch of Banelings being created here. At home? Okay. And the glaives are coming out, so YoungYakov having a decent read here. Even though he hasn't seen the glaives, he is prepared to deal with the Resonating Glaive depths. They shade on into the natural. The Banelings are already here. Nice splits here from Trigger. These are about to get cleaned up. No damage done. More depths into the third base. Not quite lined up to hit at the same time here for Trigger. So I don't think he's going to get massive damage done. Nice shade out though. I mean, shade deeper and deeper into the main or natural from Trigger. We see a Nidus that Trigger could have seen. I don't know if he saw it, you know? But he better believe it, and he gets on top of the Nidus. He knows that there's a Nidus, but how are you going to stop that? There is a lot of Adepts that have given their life right now for a minimal amount of drones killed. I feel like 9 drones. And, I mean, YoungYakov is just not even making any more drones. He's just making queens and lings once again. And where does he plan to put a Nidus down? I feel like just in the front. Maybe, like, on this high ground again. I would like it a lot on that high ground. We see a bunch of Banes coming out. And all the Trigger has is these Adepts. Oh my god, these Adepts do take pretty good trades. Trigger does not see that Nidus. And, I mean, as soon as the queens are out, we're going to have a pretty similar situation to game number 2. But Yakov does not have any gold bases. Does have the roaches coming up as well. Queens are coming out. And, oh, pretty good fight here for Yakov. Gets a big links around on top of the Adepts. And no shield battery here that has a nuclear option. Or did it just die to Banelings? I'm not sure, but the queens are here. We have like 8 queens here. And even though nothing is happening in the third anymore, how is Trigger going to deal with these queens? Because his whole army just died to Ling Baneling. 40 more Lings in production. Couple Banelings coming in as well. And I feel like if you just, you just waddle a couple Banelings into that third base. Oh no, nice move. Nidus in the back. You have to respond to that if you are Trigger, but you are already so starved on units. You have 4 Adepts. That's it. You have 4 Adepts. You have nothing else. You can literally just unload his whole army in your main base right now. Just queens go in, whoop, and they come out. Probes instantaneously being pulled out by Trigger. Pull-out game real strong. Because he knows that he can't most likely hold this base. Especially not with, like, no Immortals yet. No, like, big Adept count. No Stalkers. Just nothing. Banelings coming into the third base. Get 9 pro kills, 10 pro kills. And the main base is just kind of overrun here, but also all your tech is here for Trigger. Like, you don't really want to give up the main base. But what are you to do when there is 9 queens in your main base? And this is looking a lot like game number 1. Adepts go in for the Hail Mary. I don't know if he wanted to finish that shade. A couple Adepts behind here are stuck, or at least not willing to be part of this fight. And just like that, only 4 Adepts remain on the field here for Trigger. Using the SimCity to their advantage, nuclear battery has been committed. And YoungYakov just retreats. He's like, nah, I'm not fighting that. I'll just take down your third base with my queens. And now the roaches are being added on. And this is going to seal the deal here for YoungYakov. Going to 3-0. The NA Invader. Do see some Adepts trying to get some drone kills, but you almost don't care anymore as Yakov. Just get those roaches in the main base. The main nexus is going down. He is getting awfully low on the drones, though. So if Trigger can hold on here, get a second Immortal, get some damage done. This Nexus be damned. You just want to kill all of the units now. And look at all of the drones that are dying. The main base does go down for Trigger, but he has a high worker count. It doesn't matter. Oh, the Immortal is stuck. The Immortal is stuck. No more juice on the shield battery. No War Prism to save him. But look at this. There's enough Zealots and an Immortal here to kind of deal with this army of YoungYakov. More Roaches are coming out. 10 Roaches in total onto the field. And this is somehow so close. 33 workers here for YoungYakov. That seems to be enough to keep up this assault. This Immortal gets targeted down. It can't go anywhere. No nuclear battery available. This battery doesn't quite have the range to soup up that Immortal. Immortal does pop out, so we have an additional Immortal. Oh my god, think about if he had like 1 or 2 Immortals right now and maybe a War Prism. This would be so over. But instead, YoungYakov with endless transfuses is just taking trades here that maybe Trigger can't quite recover from. Like, look at the amount of units. Like, 2 Zealots, 3 Zealots, 1 Stalker. And the main base is just getting destroyed here. This Immortal kind of getting set back by the SimCity. But you can't risk this Immortal ever dying, I feel like. But that's a lot of Zerg wrapping around onto the Immortal. Already used its barrier, and now it's getting targeted down by the Roaches. Barrier's back. Back in black. And this Immortal just doing what it can, dishing out the damage. It's the DPS role of this army, but the whole army is kind of, well, gone. Nuclear battery activated for 1 Immortal. For 1 round of shields for the Immortal. The Robo gets killed. It actually was contaminated as well. Trigger is taking the 3rd base amongst all of this, so he's kind of holding on. He has 50 probes. This game is crazy. And YoungYakov finally getting some more drones. He's just been pulling the trigger over and over. He's kind of like a guy on the revolver, you know, just like shooting as fast as he can, not reloading ever. And now, after spending all of his bullets, taking out the entire main base of Trigger, he realizes that Trigger is a demon, in fact, and has multiple heads, so it's very hard to kill him. Oh my god, this Immortal! Oh my god, the Immortal! Gets saved by all of these dirty shield batteries, and I think Yakov can just go somewhere else. Go to the other 3rd base. You have nothing to gain in the main base anymore. There is creep in your main base. Trigger's mom is yelling once again. Clean the garage as well while you're at it. Your creep is everywhere. This is your fault. Shield battery at the 3rd base gets targeted down right away, so how can Trigger ever even try to dream of holding this? No additional Robo, and charge being added on here for the Zealots. No +1 this time around, so this Nexus is about to go down. We don't have a Robo, so we can't clean this creep tumor up. The Immortal gets surrounded, and I mean, Trigger can maybe stay alive, but he can't take this base for a long time to come, and he doesn't have any power units to speak of. He does have the Immortal, actually, so there is a Robo. And what is the second Robo unit? YoungYakov doing such a good job of, like, continuously sniping these Immortals. If one of these Immortals just survives a bit too long, gets too much value, this game can go south. And now Trigger on the counter offensive with the Adepts. We see a Nidus Worm here. Sure. You know, defensive Nidus Worm. And the Adepts do get caught here a little bit. Actually, they get a shade into the natural. They might get a couple more drones. They do. And YoungYakov now at 53 drones and Trigger at 46. These Nidus Worms just everywhere. Now, we do finally have an Observer. I'm actually surprised that Trigger is hellbent on taking this base now. I guess that this one has been mined out a little bit. But I mean, I guess he just wants the long distance mine. Too bad the probes can't get through here. You have to go the long way around. Another Nidus Worm being added on here. And, ooh, another Immortal is in peril, but the Roaches can't quite get it done. What was that sound? Quals? Oh no, the Immortal, no! The Immortal, no! All of Trigger's hopes and dreams die with that one Immortal, and I think he will be kicking himself for all of the Immortals that have died this game. Finally, a War Prism is being added on here. This Immortal is kind of stuck here, can't quite help the main fight. And that's the advantage of taking this area, baby. This Immortal trying to hold on. No shield battery overcharge to save that immortal. So only one immortal here in the natural. Shield battery overcharge now saving this one stalker, hero stalker, keeping the dream alive. This one immortal doing what he can, but immortals don't do a lot of damage to queens because queens don't have an armor typing. So they're certainly not armored. And immortals are kind of mediocre versus high HP non-armored units, such as the queen. But they still do decent DPS, but it's hard. Oh my god, these cannons are well positioned. These roaches are bugging out so hard, trying to get on top of this cannon. Oh my god, another immortal gets sniped. The Warpism gets sniped. What a game, dude. What the hell is going on? YoungYakov, though, his supply is skyrocketing. Just 13 drones for the heck of it. He's like, I'm winning this game, dude. Gets another immortal on the field. We've seen 6 immortals die already, and none of them have been the hero that Trigger has been looking for. He's just warping in like single adepts, just trying to get something done here. There's loads of gas, but just can't quite spend it on anything useful. If only he had like 8 gateways to just warp in a bunch of sentries right now, or a Templar Archive to get Archons. Oh, this immortal tries to get the Nidus. Shield battery overcharge saves that immortal once again. There's just no more money for immortals here for Trigger. His natural almost mined out. His third base halfway mined out as well. See a couple force fields coming from the sentries here. These cannons are very important to the defense of Trigger. Look at the defensive positions that he does have. Luring in units into these cannons and shield batteries, just being so cost efficient. And if you look at the total resources lost, it is Trigger, though, that is drawing the short end of the stick, and that is not a good thing when your opponent is, well, tripling your worker count almost. And just more roachlings swarming on to the third base of Trigger, and no more shield batteries here except for this one that can't quite reach this immortal. Just wants to be with his friends, but he's been stuck there for the last 2 minutes, and now the queens are on top of another base, and the last time we saw that, it didn't end well. We do see the nuclear battery being committed once again. 10 probes do go down. 24 probes are left remaining, and YoungYakov is tripling the supply of Trigger right now. Like, Trigger is fighting on valiantly, but at some point, you've got to admit, bro, you kind of did. And now we see a bunch of Banelings coming out. YoungYakov is in the main base and just goes into the natural of Trigger. Trigger completely out of position to deal with this at all. And now all of his static defenses are dead. He kind of gets pushed back by his own wall, preventing him from getting into his own base. The last remaining amount of probes get killed. Another immortal gets caught when it spawns. Oh no. Oh, actually, there's no shield batteries here, though, so this might die, this one immortal, though. 13 kills in the back. Another immortal goes down. And it's just an immortal slaughterhouse here. And Trigger going down to 20 supply. And we only have 1 hero remaining. But I don't think it's enough. YoungYakov taking this best of 5 in style, dude. He takes it 3-0, and he does this Protoss player filthy. Like, he pulled out the builds. Happy laddering Zerg mains, because that was cool. That was kind of dominating as well. I love it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed these games. Be sure to subscribe. This is the 100th video on my channel. That's pretty cool. 100 videos? I didn't think I'd get there. So yeah. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.